Alright, I got the shift cables here underneath the intake manifold coming from like the driver's side. I don't know for sure if this is going to be the position it's going to be in, but I do got it inside of the on the inside of the cabin, and it's all bolted up. I don't know until I have the transmission in and how the final position would be. But I'm going to go ahead and put the shifter in. So the shifter's going to sit like that. And then I got these solid bushings from Shea Spec. And I'm going to go ahead and install those. Along with the solid shifter base bushings, I also installed solid shifter cable bushings on the interior, and those are also from Shea Spec. I just forgot to record the part. You can see the cable and bushings on the video on the cable that attaches to the actual shifter. Alright, so the bolts that hold down the automatic shifter are too small to hold down the manual shifter. Now I'm using the solid shifter bushings from Shea Spec, which are aluminum bushings, and so I had to go to the parts store, well the hardware store, and go ahead and get some bolts and washers to make it fit. So I got a stainless Allen head, stainless lock washer, and I got a stainless washer with it. The automatic shifter base bolts do not work because the washer on them is not wide enough to hold down the bushing and the base together. So that is why I had to use different bolts. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put the center console on. For the center console, just need to go ahead and put the shift boot on, which I got right here. And I just need to go ahead and take off those screws and screw it on. Alright, now I'm just going to be prepping up the transmission. So tomorrow morning I'm just going to go ahead and throw it up on the engine and just go ahead and bolt everything down. Put on the shift lever fork, the spring from the shift lever boot, grease it up and put on the throwout bearing, and that should be it. Alright, so I just got real focused working on the car by myself, and I haven't been recording, but I mean, you guys saw me take a lot of the stuff off. Hold on, let me go ahead and tighten this up. So anyways, I put in this hydraulic clutch line that I got from Rywire, and I bled the clutch. Put in the slave cylinder, got it connected, put on the starter, torque that down, torque down the transmission. I had my dad help me out. I put on this this mount right here. It's a 5-speed mount, so if you're doing the swap, you're going to need the 5-speed mount. And also on the starter, you're going to need a 5-speed starter. I got the shift cables through. Haven't installed them yet. I still have to lock them down. I'm putting on some solid bushings I got from TWM Performance, and I'll be doing that next. But what else?
Let me see. Put in the battery tray. Also, I got a new CV axle. Put it in. Went ahead and put on the whole suspension, and also put on the radius arm. So yeah, I put the suspension together. Put on the cotter pins. Same for the bottom. Still got to put on the splash shield. Yeah, so everything's good on this side. Still got to put on the intake, put on the battery. Already hooked up all the connections, the battery connections. Got a lot of loose connections from the automatic transmission. Also, I forgot to mention, I did put on this this bar right here. I'm not sure what it's called, but I did take it off. Just installed the mid axle shaft. You can see right there, and I'm just waiting for the axle for this side. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and set the shift cables.
The one I used is from a cord. The reason why I did that is because I did it on accident. Is because I had a spare engine laying around, and I thought the mid shaft was from the Prelude, from my 4th gen Prelude, but I forgot we had swapped the mid shafts. If you use the mid shaft from a cord, you also need the cord CV axle because the connections on them are different.
Alright, so here's a package from TWM that I got. Give you a little bit of sandpaper. Got a C-clip. Another, what is it? They call this E-clip, C-clip, whatever. And here's the solid bushings. I'm gonna go ahead and take out the old ones. The old ones are real easy to take out. You just push them out, basically. Zoom in a little bit. Push this one out. And just like that, it's out. So basically, just get some of the sandpaper, just clean up the edges. Then get the bushing. The large side is going to go on the transmission. So this one faces like that. I'm going to go ahead and put it in right there. Get the clip. And there it is right there. Go ahead and get the locking pin, or I'm not sure what you call it, to be honest. Gonna need a hammer just to push down the clip. That's in there pretty secure. And then after you put it on the shift arm, you're just gonna go ahead and put a pin on it. And these are supplied with the kit they send you. Next up, just going to do the other shift cable. You can see it right there on top of the radiator hose. Same thing, just going to push this one out. Might be a little bit harder because it's smaller. There it goes. That took some strength. Let me get the sandpaper. So this bottom piece will be sitting on the transmission. Just put the clip on it. That made it a lot easier. Just go ahead and set it back in. Just get the clip, go ahead and set it in. Went ahead and threw in my battery, and going to add this little thing, the little cap for the oil fill, just a tiny cap. Most Hondas are missing this cap. We're going to go ahead and put the manual transmission fluid in. It's faster if you put it in through the vehicle speed sensor, the hole before you put in the speed sensor. The fluid I'm going to be using is Synchrotech, made by, well, it's a Synchrotech manual transmission fluid made by Torco. It's they made it for Synchrotech for the LSD in the transmission, and the break-in period is 500 miles for the transmission. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put in 2.5 bottles. I'm gonna go ahead and install the speed sensor, put a brand new O-ring on it. Alright, to start the car, you need to make the car think that it's in park so you can start it, because it still thinks it's automatic. So you need to get this plug that was connected to the transmission. So if you're looking at the top side from the button you press, you want to cut the wires, the left and right wire right here. I have them already cut. You have the gray wire here. Then you got a red wire with the white stripe on it. You just gotta connect these two together, and you can connect the black with the blue wire. If you connect all three together, it'll show on the cluster that it's in park, just the light. But if you don't care for it to have the light on there, like, it really doesn't matter, just as long as your car starts. So you just connect the gray and the red one with the white stripe together. So I'm gonna go ahead and solder them together. I just cut the blue one, the black with the blue stripe, just to see what would happen. But yeah, it's just for the light on the cluster. Now for the reverse light, I cut the ends off at the junkyard for the connections, just so it looks OEM. And so yeah, I stripped it. Now the wires you just soldered for starting the car, gonna go ahead and put on the yellow end. And then I'm gonna go ahead and solder that up real quick. Now for the green one, gonna cut off the white wire off of the plug, and then just connect that one. Now when you do this, you know, just connect them and check to make sure everything's working correctly. Don't just connect them and then you mess up, you know? Now what I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up this plug, cut the wires in different lengths. So now it kind of looks like a regular harness. And just slide some heat shrink, slide all the wires in. Alright, and that's just to make everything look OEM, like an OEM harness. Just go ahead and plug that up. And that's it for reverse lights and starting the car. Now the car should start and the reverse light should work when you throw it into reverse. For the automatic transmission cooler lines that run into the radiator, basically all I did is follow the hose. I undid the hose, cut it, and then I just looped the line, and that's basically it for that right there. There's the solid bushings right there. Here's the other solid bushing. See, I got the shift cables going through there onto the mount, and then right over the rear mount, the rear engine mount. So the rear engine mount over here, and got them going over the exhaust. You can see them. To be honest, I don't know where that bracket goes, so I'm gonna take it off, and later when I'm able to see another Prelude, standard Prelude, see how they do it from factory, I'll go ahead and adjust them. But I just got them running through there. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this heat shield up, and that should be it for under here. There's the solid bushings right there, and here's the other solid bushing. I got the shift cables going through there onto the mount, and then right over the rear mount, the rear engine mount. So the rear engine mount over here, and got them going over the exhaust. You can see them. To be honest, I don't know where that bracket goes, so I'm gonna take it off, and later when I'm able to see another Prelude, standard Prelude, see how they do it from factory, I'll go ahead and adjust them. But I just got them running through there. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this heat shield up, and that should be it for under here.
There's a couple of little parts such as bolts and clips that you also need. It's a lot of little detail for me to go into. If you're fortunate enough to take off the parts from an actual Prelude, try to get every little part. Having all the little parts just makes the whole swap seem professional, and everything will run smoothly. That's what separates a professional swap from a ghetto swap. You can also look at diagrams online to see if you have all the right parts and how exactly they go. And also, if you have to, you could buy everything from the dealership, you know, the little things that you don't have. Take your time and do things right the first time around.